What's up? This is the Von Casket, home to the lamest taste. You check me out on Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, all one word, the Vinyl Casket, where you guys can subscribe, like, and comment, hit the bell for much, much more. We are doing a book review. This is a Casket book review. Check out the rest of the playlist for everything else. I know I've been pretty delayed between this and my last book, but this was a rough read. Not that the book was hard to get through, just like my experience, like I flew through like the first half of this, and then just I didn't have time to read. I if you don't know, I mostly read on the train to work. I live on Long Island. I work construction in New York City. It is an hour and 40-minute train ride. So in the morning I read. Going home, I read. And that's really when I read a physical novel. At home, I read comics on my tablet. I read indie single issues. I have tons of collected editions I need to read. So that's when I read that stuff. Or I watch movies and TV shows to review here too. So when I read these books, it's mostly on the train. And for a big chunk of January, I didn't work. And there was then a big chunk of like a month where I was driving to work. I was working at the airport. I was driving. So that cut out my reading there. So there was a good 2 months where I didn't read. Where like December, I got to a decent part of this book. And then I don't know what happened. But I got through it. And the tail end of this book, the last like 2 parts are phenomenal. The last part is insane. This is Brandon Sanderson's Words of Radiance. This is book 2 of the Stormlight Archives. And while I might sneeze. No, I'm not. All right. While the first book, Wave Kings, is clearly a world builder. And while this book built on top of that and built relationships and like the structure that's going to go forward for this new world that we're entering, book 1 established the background story, the origin, the history, how shard blades work, what these kingdoms are, who these people are, how we got to the Shattered Plains, why these these places that we're fighting, how these different high princes involve and why, and the backgrounds, the background stories of these characters and how Kaladin got to be a slave and, why he's so against these things, and all these driving factors were in the first book. In the second book, we get a whole bunch of story. It's an incredible story, well written, well told story that takes all those world building elements that we got in the first book and capitalizes on them. I destroyed this thing. This thing is destroyed. This thing went through it. I love this book. I truly, truly love this book. This book came out March 4th, 2014. It is currently the end of April 2026. There is 3 more books after this in the Stormlight Archives. If you haven't watched any of my videos prior, this is my 8th Cosmere book. Before reading this, I read Mistborn Era 1, so that's 3 books. I read Warbreaker, Elantris, and Tress. And then Wave Kings, and now this. I'm about to say that's 7. This book rules. I love everything about it. I really enjoyed how now all the characters are together, right? So at the beginning of this book, we lose oh my god, I can't think of her name, but Shalon loses her mentor, the king's sister. She's gone. Spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, please tune out of this video. I knew she wasn't gone. at the end of the book, you find out that she's still alive. I freaking knew it. But the ship goes down. Shallan has to figure out how to get to the kingdom or whatever herself, like on her own. Now she's lost her crew, she lost her mentor, she doesn't know how to use these powers. She discovers patterns, so she gets her full spren now. She's trying to figure this all out while manipulating dangerous people to get there. She meets another dangerous person, develops, learns and learns and more. Her development is crazy. Her development from like a shy, like very like to herself scholar becomes a very dangerous sleeper cell assassin style person. We find out, obviously, more spoilers, that this shard blade that she's had in the first book and she has now is actually the spren pattern this whole time. We get a lot of flashbacks and like the whole like story of what happened to her mother, the stuff that went down with her father, how she got here, what happened to her father, how her father's gone. We've gotten all of that, how he got the caster, and all this stuff is told through flashbacks throughout this book. Very well done. How Kaladin had lots of flashbacks in the first book. She was like the main flashback person in this book. I really enjoyed that. Now she gets there, right? Already Kaladin, Adolin, and Dalinar are already together at this kingdom, working together. The way that Dalinar has implemented Kaladin and his Bridge 4 and his bridge people into like this incredible guard is so well done. The headbutting relationship between Aladin and Kaladin is really interesting to watch, because towards the end they're ready to be buddy. They're there. They've gone through it together. They don't care that it's not a competition anymore of who's stronger, who's more of a hard ass. It's not like, yo, you protected my brother, you're basically my brother. My cousin, the king, locked you up because he's a dumbass. I'm going to sit in this jail until they let you out. I'm going to lock myself up until they let you out. Like, that was awesome. So then the whole discovery thing and how Adolin and then Shallan, basically they fall for each other. And it's like a slow fall, and then post her getting stuck in the storm with Kaladin, it's full force, like they're into each other. And I really enjoyed that, and I really, really loved all of this. Dang, this review. How is it 8 minutes already? That's crazy. Yeah, I really enjoyed all of that, and I really loved, like, these are like my favorite parts. And I really just loved how they got stuck in the storm, and now they're tight too. Like Kaladin, Adolin, and Shallan are very close now, and how Dalinar finally gets to it. They go on that big journey. The first time it doesn't work out. The second time they go again. Finally, things are like happening for Kaladin. He gets his powers back. The whole 9 yards of how this is told. And then the big battle was excellent. Then the second big battle between Szeth and Kaladin was crazy. And then finally you get to this place that they've been looking for, that Shallan's been looking for. And I'm super excited. And the things I'm really excited about that now happen at the end of this book that I could talk about, because I said spoilers, is the fact that Adolin killed that fucking guy. So happy that he's gone. I'm very curious how the fallout of that is going to affect society, but I'm happy that it happened. Szeth has freaking Nightblood, right? That's what it's called. That the sword from Warbreaker. Holy cannoli! When the guy handed him this sheathed shard blade and he pulled it out and the black smoke, I was like, oh no. And then the blade started talking. I'm like, oh, it's Nightblood. That's sick. That's so cool. Obviously, what's her name is still alive. I'm really excited that now we have, we have this kingdom has 4 Radiance, technically 5. Shalon's with freaking Wit, who, as we know, is Hoyd. This is awesome. This is an awesome ending. The last part of this book was like they say, the Sanderlanche. It was so good. I love this book. This writer has broken my book scale, because like every book is a 5 out of 5, but that doesn't. But like this one was better than the last book, so like I can't give that book a 5 out of 5 and then this book a 5 out of 5, because this book is better than that book, but that book's better than every book I've ever read. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's broken the scale. So I guess I'm going to just keep saying that the whole series is a 5 out of 5. But so good. I love this book so much. I'm so mad that I had to destroy it just to read it on the train. Like this is, come on. The next book is going to be crazy. I've taken a break and I'm reading Red Rising right now, which is really awesome. I'm flying through that book. That being said, guys, that was my review for Brandon Sanderson's Words of Radiance, Book 2 of the Stormlight Archives. Let me know, guys, what you like. What was your favorite part of this book? What's your favorite part of the Cosmere? What's your favorite part of the Stormlight Archives? You know, what should I read next? I might take a break after Red Rising, and I might go into Yumi and the Nightmare Painter just to break it up. I still have to do Era 2 of Mistborn and the rest of Stormlight, as well as Yumi, Sunlit, and whatever that last secret project was, Isles of Emberdark. And obviously I have the Kickstarter. I funded the Kickstarter for his next secret project, so I'll have that when it shows up too. With that being said, guys, this is the Vinyl Casket, home to Lamest Taste. You can check me out on Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, all one word, the Vinyl Casket, where you guys can subscribe, like, and comment. Hit the bell for much more to be a massive favor, and stay lame.